welcome to Conversations with My Real Friends. I'm Jennifer. I'm here with my friend Jorge. Jorge is the president of Century 21 Real Estate Alliance, and today we're going to be talking about brokerages, right? You run a brokerage. What is the role of a manager at a brokerage? How do they support the agents and the consumers?
Well, thank you for the question. There's a lot of things that a real estate manager should be doing in order to support both the agents and clients. One of the first things that comes to mind is, accountability partner, ensuring that they are up to speed with, the proper training.
Yes.
Making sure that they're doing the right thing for the clients. We're very focused on ensuring that the client is first, that they're doing the right thing, that they have, that they're making informed decisions along the way.
Right.
The most important aspect of it is like the accountability part. Real estate agents are independent contractors.
Yes.
And in that nature, they may not even show up into the office. And, post 2019, post pandemic, a lot of agents picked up a lot of bad habits, such as not coming into the office. Why do we emphasize coming into the office? Well, that's where thoughts and ideas exchange, or where you check in with other people as to how do we overcome this challenge.
Right.
If the manager is not there, they make the assumption that we're not available. And I consider myself a manager because indirectly I still manage, agents in certain markets.
Right.
But I do manage a couple of offices, and they make the assumption that if I'm not there, they are not going to ask a question. I would much rather have them ask the question, even if they think that it's not important enough.
Right.
Because that can actually end up me having to call you, not necessarily in a good scenario, but
Correct.
How do we overcome this challenge?
Right.
How do we stand by our clients' best interests, and not necessarily us? We're not necessarily interested in covering our rears over something bad that we did, but how do we ensure that the client is making an informed decision,
Right.
so they have a successful transaction?
Right.
So that's where the manager takes, the importance of a real estate manager, an experienced one. Every single transaction is different.
Yes.
And because of, and I have this conversation with some of our agents, and my wife's now a new real estate agent.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you handling it different than the other transaction? Because the nature of the scenario is very, very different and very unique. And an experienced real estate manager will recognize that maybe this path to follow will be better than the other path.
Right.
And also helping the agent recognize the pros and cons of each of those scenarios.
Right. So that support system for the agents and making sure that always the client first is where we're aiming.
That's right.
Great.
And there's mentorship as well. New agents come in, and I believe that a real estate agent, regardless if they just started yesterday or they've been in the business for 10, 15, 20 years, they still require some sort of mentorship.
I agree.
Because this business continues to change. The laws change on an annual basis, more often than that, depending on what's going on.
Yep.
And the funniest thing that I hear, and this is to me, and please, when somebody says, I've been in the business for 30 years, don't you know who I am? That to me tells me we need to train this person.
Right.
This person is maybe not necessarily up to speed as to how things are going.
Right.
And maybe they don't necessarily recognize that the way that we do business today is way different than it was 5 years, 10, 15, 20, even 30 years ago.
Absolutely. We all have opportunities to grow and learn.
Right.
So if someone has questions about working with your brokerage, working with you, how can they reach out to you?
They can reach out to me at either directly to my website, which is jorgedeleon.com, or my direct number, which is 805-794-7102. And if you want another way, it's jorge.deleon@c21realestate.com.
Great. Thank you for joining me today. And thank you for joining us for this episode of Conversations with My Real Friends. We'll see you soon.